the women of FACC, very inspiring. I'm so excited to meet you today and also to share your women power with our viewers. As March being Women's History Month, I want you to share your journey as women. Lois, go ahead. You are a Filipina bank executive here in California. How has that journey been for you?
It's challenging, I would say, because I moved from the Philippines. I worked in banking from Philippine National Bank for 7 years, and I was fortunate enough that when I moved here, I had that opportunity to continue my career. But being Asian and a woman and looking young, and I had to wear suits. I had to tell them I have this degree and that, and then just kind of tell them, like, I know more than what you think I know, and I can deliver more. And it's challenging in a sense that you have they look at your male colleagues first before they start looking at you, but over time you kind of learn how to stand your ground. And in a group of 5-10 men, and you're leading the conversation, it's very empowering.
Exactly. What would you advise viewers that are watching right now? They also want to be, like, obviously finance. There's more women now, but it used to be really male dominated. It still is in a way. But what would your maybe advice be for them if they want to enter the field, excel in the field?
Don't be intimidated. So be confident. I think, it's just by default where people can see us as a notch down. So just be confident with yourself, like be good in whatever you do, whether in school or, start your career. Don't focus on making money right away, focus on gaining skills. Because that, my career would have been totally different if, after graduating, I said, okay, I want to make more money. I said, no, I want to build skills. And that brought me where I'm at in my journey. And I think that would be my advice for women out there in banking and finance.
That's a great advice. Don't focus on making money, focus on building skills. Dr. Fatima, you also kind of advocate that, like taking care of oneself, being whole, being well. Tell us about your journey.
Well, my journey, Jannelle, is very much like many Filipino American women from our country, of course, filled with challenges, struggles, trying to be accepted, trying to be one with everyone when obviously I would look different. But at the end of the day, attaining, our dreams, my dreams in this case. And I feel like who I am today has a lot to do with my parents and, of course, my ancestors, the many teachers who guided me and the people who helped me and who knocked me down as well. And very similar to Lois's sharing that we are certainly looked at from just how we look first, not what we know or what we have. And if I can just share a very short story, my very, very first job interview, and the manager said, I see you have a bachelor's degree, but you'll be working with people, and I don't think that you're gonna fit. And I said, can I ask why? And he said, because of your accent. And I said, I see, what do you mean, sir? You know how it was back then. And he said, well, it's your accent. And so I said, do you understand me? Because I understand you. And he said, oh yeah, sure. So then I said, so why couldn't I get the job? But at any rate, then because I wouldn't budge, I couldn't, maybe it was my naivete, I couldn't really understand why I wouldn't get hired. I had the skills. And so 2 other managers came over, took me to this other office, and about 10 minutes I came out and I was hired. One of the things that I felt all along this journey, navigating the corporate world as a woman of color, and then of course we have our gender and our race and so many other things that could be working against us, but it's really this trust in oneself and confidence in oneself, to build on that and to always connect with that.
Two things though. First of all, I really love that accent story. Thank you for sharing that. I was on Clubhouse not too long ago, and we were talking about accents and how we are also judged by our accents, right? For some reason, the British accent is good. It's favorable and it's likable, but some other accents like Chinese accent, Filipino accent, and unfortunately, we're not just being judged as women, we're being also judged by the way we look, the color of our skin, and unfortunately for us Filipinos, also the accent, right? And it's funny because some of our most famous and successful Filipino comics have made their career out of making fun of the accent as well. So for some, we find it funny, but then in the mainstream world, when people, it actually hinders us. I like how you did not take no for an answer. Annie, have you experienced the same thing as a Filipina in the performing arts?
I think my experience would be a little bit different because we are so used to dealing with international artists. For example, we travel a lot, and then in the Philippines at the Cultural Center, we work with a lot of international artists. But when we talk about being Filipino, I remember when I was on tour with the Philippine Madrigal Singers, and the group had not been on tour for about 8 years. So we hadn't been seen in the European circle, which is where choral activity is happening most. When we enter like the hall where all the choirs are going to sing like the opening, we would be the only brown ones there. And, no one is paying any mind to us. And then, of course, we're just trying to be quiet at first. We kind of had this routine already going. And then, of course, when it starts to sing like everything, we would be the smallest group of around 20. Most other choirs, since they don't have to travel very far, they would be like 30 people, 40 people. And yet the 20 singer Filipino group would be the loudest singers. and they would see they would almost immediately recognize the musical sophistication that we had, because we were university students from the College of Music, most of us, like 90% of us. So we had a deeper understanding of music, whereas choral music in Europe is very commonplace. Like everyone is in a choir there too. So once we established that, then we would be feared for the rest of the festival because, oh no, how are we going to beat that choir? Luckily, we were, I would say, with a lot of practice, which is why the Philippine Madrigal Singers stood out. But it's really not because like we were like bullying them or anything. But once they heard us, we would now walk the festival with our chins up. But when we come in, we're like a little bit reserved. We never really talked about that. It was just something that happened, maybe because deep down inside, individually, we weren't really sure how we would be received by the other participants in the festival, for example.
And you bring up a good point, because I think that whether you're female or male, or whether you are somebody, a minority or person of color or not, it really boils down to how you present yourself and how do you prove your capabilities, right? And what I like about you, all three of you women, you're all capable women. You've all achieved success in your respective fields, but you're not stopping there because you are giving back. Why do you do what you do? One word.
Existence. The high that I get from a successful event.
Meaning.
I love that. The common denominator, Lois in banking, Annie in performing arts, Fatima in wellness, and as well as entrepreneurship. The common denominator is FACC-GLA. What brought you to FACC and what did you like about it?
So I'm a credit analyst. I read all these tax returns, financial statements. I see Korean businesses, I see Persian, I see different types of businesses. The first time I saw a tax return with probably $2 million of annual revenues, and I saw the owner was Filipina, I was like, oh my God, I need to meet her. I need to meet my people. So for me, when that became my passion, I was like, how do I meet entrepreneurs and business professional in the Filipino American business community? So came up, Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, Greater LA, and then I got connected, and I enjoy, connecting with our fellow Filipinos. There's so many brilliant professionals there and entrepreneurs, and I think if we just get together and support each other, we're definitely gonna rise together.
Annie, you're the current president, and look at the people helping you. Two of them are Filipinas, women as well. Is it by design, or has the organization evolved through the years?
It has evolved through the years, but I think it is actually coincidental and that we're mostly women, and actually the men in our board actually make that comment too. They see how it feels like to be the the weed in the field, but really I think it's because of the quality that women have, and there are really a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And I wouldn't say it's not just successful, but it's that these entrepreneurs are very passionate about what they do. And in the chamber, we feel the passion of everyone for being in that business, which is usually it helps someone somewhat. And let's say like Lois is in banking, Fatima is in wellness. It's because they want to help people, and they decided to make it part of their business. In performing arts, it's a little weird. I always get that maybe that reaction, or maybe it's in my head, I don't know, because I always tell people, all the time I'm selling you guys tickets. So I was like Lois, like, I don't want to sell anything. I just want to sing. I will write everything. I will rehearse everyone and make them all prepared. Guess what I'm doing? That I'm doing 30%, but 70% is marketing and selling and trying to get funding for the show, so that Filipino Americans can be seen in the best light. They can be seen in the right places, and they will reach the audience that is looking for them. So going back to about being female, when I was young, when you're a choir singer or you have like a music teacher, they're almost always female. So children accept it. Musicians accept it, but when you're the one now sitting on that other end, like I become the music director, then I feel now like the discrepancy, I would say. Like I wouldn't think that it's emasculating in any sense, because I just thought music is universal. I mean, I stood there, I believed anyone who was standing in front of me. But when it's your turn to be standing in front of them and directing them, teaching them, rehearsing them, then you will wonder what the heck is going on. I would still say that there is really a difference on how a woman is treated in a power of position. But maybe that's why the chamber is comprised of these powerful women, because we are the ones who are willing to be seen doing it, willing to lead, and not really for the purpose of just being better than the others. Maybe it's just the willingness to take it.
Yeah, the willingness to work, right? And you mentioned that FACC is Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, GLA is Greater Los Angeles. That's your chapter, because there's FACC, Filipino American Chambers of Commerce, all over the US. So congratulations on your 20th year. I love that the chambers are also promoting entrepreneurship, because up until a few years ago, I also didn't think that I would get into entrepreneurship. So Fatima, in your experience as an entrepreneur yourself and as part of FACC, and I'm sure you've encountered many stories, is it more difficult for a female compared to male to get into entrepreneurship? And what would be your advice for those out there that would like to get into it, to start their own business? We saw a lot during the pandemic, right? From baking as a hobby to now selling, and that's very empowering.
I will say more from my own experience and working with a lot of people, that it seems as though entrepreneurship is more kind of natural for women. Now, maybe because I also grew up with a mother who was a businesswoman, and growing up, seeing her, being at her store, it was almost second nature to me. But nonetheless, I think that women are more inclined to be entrepreneurs. and perhaps easier because I think we are more flexible and we are more willing to do what it takes and to experiment and not get so hung up. So I think from that standpoint that we might have an advantage in that regard.
What could you advise women out there who want to get into business?
I would say connecting with your purpose, connecting with your passion, and then really taking care of yourself so that you can embody, you can actualize that dream.
That's what these women are doing, but they're taking it a notch higher because they're also taking care of community. So go ahead, Annie. Who should be signing up to be a member of FACC? How difficult is it to be a member and what's expected?
It's not difficult at all. We have taken almost all our operations online, so we have actually farther reach. Members will always have exclusive perks, like we will connect you with all our affiliates who are usually nonprofits who help, who give business assistance. Between the members, we have a lot of networking, a lot of connection, because we know that when we're dealing with the struggles in business, the change in business now, you want to be able to converse, you want to be able to get together and see how the other people are doing. It's either going to be some inspiration from you, for you, like you get some motivation, maybe you're going to get an idea, and maybe you're going to feel less alone. Our anniversary event is free for everyone because we realize not everybody really understands what a chamber of commerce is for. So it's really for entrepreneurs to gather. It is the business voice of a community, and in our case, it's really a hub for connection.
Thrive at 20 on March 17. What's going to happen? What can people expect? And this is so exciting that it's a free event.
We're one of the first Filipino American chambers to jump into this new platform. The event on March 17 is actually a two-part event. In the afternoon from 1 to 6 is going to be a conference, a virtual conference via AirMeet platform. So, exhibitors will have an option to set up their booths. There will be a networking lounge where you can just jump from one table to another, go on a speed networking session, and there's going to be speaker panels every hour from 1 to up until 6 p.m.
And at the end of it all, we do want to celebrate the 6:30 to 8. It'll be following the theme of a butterfly story of metamorphosis. There will be games, prizes, you name it. It'll be a lot of fun and also some entertainment. What is a Filipino event without entertainment? So we will have that. Really, our hope for Thrive at 20 is for our participants, our audience, our members to gain something. For the people who will come to take some steps towards their goals, towards their dreams, and in the process be transformed and emerge and thrive in this year of 2021.
I love when you say that because I feel the sincerity of you wanting to give to the participants, wanting to give to the members of FACC. I love that. Meaning, existence, high metamorphosis, butterfly, very powerful words, but I'm sure it's even more powerful conversations. So driving more powerful conversations at Thrive at 20 on March 17th, sponsored and organized by FACC-GLA. We invite all of you to come, and information on the screen. Please check it out. Thank you so much, ladies, and I'll see you on March 17th.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.